Hello YouTube. Today I'm in Defiance, Ohio, the site of Fort Defiance. It was built in 1794 by General Mad Anthony Wayne. He was on a campaign to fight with the natives in the area who had been trying to drive the white settlers out. This was the Northwest Territory at the time, and a couple of generals before him had been defeated, but he came along, and when he got to this, which is the confluence of the Maumee River over here and the Oglazi River over here, major trade routes. There was a Shawnee village close by, and this is a easily defendable position because you're out on a point in the rivers. We're going to go up and take a look at what's left of the fort, the foundations and so on. But this is where he came with 2,500 men, and eventually this was his staging area where he went on to the Battle of Fallen Timbers, a major victory that caused the native tribes to sign a treaty which basically gave us the control of the Northwest Territory, which was Ohio, Michigan, Indiana, Illinois, Wisconsin. So you can see this steep slope here as well as over here. They caused that to be done to make it harder for attacking forces coming up out of the river, as well as the fact that the British garrison in, which was Fort Miami, I think, which was actually became Fort Wayne, they had artillery, so he wanted protection for his fort up here in case the British were on like that side of the river or that side. So let's go on up and take a look. Coming up from the river, you see a couple of cannon. These were made in 1847 and they were presented here to the town people, to the GAR, Grand Army of the Republic, back in 1896. They originally were coastal guns during the Civil War, so really were not connected to this fort at all. The fort's pretty typical star shape. You got this, goes out to the point, which really controls both sides of the river, and there are some remnants of foundations, and they had a blockhouse here, another one over there, and another one over there. They were two-story, and they had barracks for the troops on both stories, and between them were palisades with sharpened spikes in front of them to stop people, soldiers from attacking. But what's nice here is that in the ground they've got these brass plaques that really give you an idea of what you're standing on. Otherwise, it just, to most people, this would just look like a bunch of mounds of dirt. So in this area was the powder magazine. It would have been dug into the ground to protect the powder from shells and weather. They did have a lot of shale around here, so the walls and foundation were built out of shale. Next to it was the bake oven, which was located near this blockhouse, where it's bigger than the other two, and this was where they did a lot of the food prep and cooking for the garrison. And here's a good example of the trench they had around the fort. It was 16 feet wide, 8 feet deep down at sharp angles, and there was about 10 feet to the walls. which is where I'm standing. And they used the earth from there, from the ditch, to pile up against the walls, and they took bundles of sharpened sticks and stuck them in. So if somebody came down that bank, try to get up the other bank, they're going to run into all those sharpened sticks, which is going to definitely slow them down. They also put dirt on the inside of the wall, which you can sort of see here. That way the pickets that they put in here were 12 feet, 6 feet into the earth, 6 feet up, so above the interior here. So somebody coming in going to have to go through that ditch, past those sharpened sticks, up the other ditch, across this 10 feet of space with guys on the inside shooting down at them. Very strong fort. Now, between that blockhouse and the one over here on the river, the fourth one, was a long stretch of wall. This is where there was a log structure for the officers' quarters. And they built this whole fort in 6 days. But you got to figure 2,500 men working at this. It's not that big, and 6 days seems like a pretty good timetable for that. So you may wonder, how did he get its name? I mean, the Fort Defiance. When it was built, Mad Anthony Wayne said that he defied the English, Indians, or the devils from hell to take it. That's how it's got its name. Now, this flagpole is very important because this is the benchmark that all the lands in the Western Territory were surveyed from. So this is the main spot where the surveyors had to come back to or start from. I think it was in 1836 that the fort had fallen into disrepair, and the town dedicated this site to being a park to preserve that fort. They did build the public library right next to it, so that helped keep it this nice little public park and historic spot, and they did a good job. There's a lot of information here that I didn't show you everything, but you may want to come here. If you ever get to Defiance, Ohio, or passing nearby, stop in, check it out. After the Battle of Fallen Timbers, Mad Anthony Wayne decreed that all Indian villages and all crops within 50 miles would be destroyed, so that there was a way to keep them away from being supplied to attack the fort. I think that's going to leave Fort Defiance and get on the road and see what else I can find. So, see you later, YouTube.